All right, good morning, cyber friends. It's the Midi Man coming at you again from back here, Walker Studio, Studio B. We want to say that we give God all the praise and honor, give Him all the glory. Thank you for life, health, and strength. We wanted to say that on yesterday because this is Labor Day. Happy Labor Day to all of you people that's still in the work field. It is a holiday for you. Those of you that are still in the work field, we say Happy Labor Day to you. We thank God for you, and we know that somebody got to work. In other words, we thank God that some people that still got to work that work ethic. Some people still have to work. So we take our hats off to those people that are yet having to carry the load for a lot of the rest of us, because of the fact is, y'all, it's the people that work are the one that paying the taxes. If y'all don't realize, I tell people a lot of time, I get ridiculed. Some people don't misunderstand old Midi Man, but I just only tell the truth. I just tell it like it is. The government is not giving you anything. It just whatever you get, whatever benefit it might be, you either have worked for it. If it's Social Security, you worked for it years ago when you was laying it away. They were taking and they were deducting it out of your pay. Or if you didn't, whatever you're getting, whatever benefit it might be right now, it still come from somebody taxes. That's where the money's coming from, y'all. Government ain't got no money. I keep telling you that. Government ain't got no money. Taxpayers do. That's where the money comes from. So we just want to say Happy Labor Day to all of you that make it possible. And we give God, we thank God for each one of you and all the rest that's who's in the employed. And we know that we've been going through some trying times in our nation in the past where God knows, oh Lord, really in the past 30, 40 years, really, we've been going through some sort of thing, one thing after another. And nevertheless, perhaps it goes back even further than that, but I'm just talking about in my lifetime. I know I have seen some days that uh, been some good days, and I've seen some bad days, as the song says. But nevertheless, Jesus, you look at my title of this video, said at the foot of the cross. At the foot of the cross. And y'all, what I'm speaking of, if in case some of you didn't know, I'm speaking at the cross of Christ, the one that he suffered and bled and died on so many years ago on a Roman cross. Jesus paid the price and everything for my freedom, for my health, for my strength, for yours as well. And we just it's a lot of unrest that's going on, y'all. It's a lot of people that's confused, and God knows this. God is not oblivious to what we are going through. Some of us may think so, but God is not oblivious to what we are going through. He knows exactly what we are going through. And I wished I could sit here and just tell you that I know all the answers and I got it all figured out, but Midi Man don't. Only thing I can tell y'all is just what the Bible say, what Jesus said in the Word, what the Bible say. That's all I can go on. And if the Bible didn't say it, if Jesus didn't say it, then I don't know nothing else to say. So that's what I'm trying to let everybody know. If God said it, you can depend on it. This is the way I was raised, from my great grandmama on up. I was raised to believe whatever God said, just to believe it, point face value, and that's been in me all my life, and so that's how come I can sit and do these videos and be very honest about it. If God said it, then you can believe it. And I'm just here to tell you that He's not. I know we're going through a lot right now. I know we are, and I think back 30 years ago when I was going to college. And matter of fact, when I graduated from Andrew was back in 1984, and I left that summer. during that summer period, I left. I believe July had came in because I graduated in June of '84, and I think around that July, that's when I left my hometown and went to Berry during the summer session. I went up there and I enrolled in Berry as a upperclassman. I went to Berry as a junior. Um, That's where my great grandma passed away that next year, in '85. It was in '85, March of '85, and I can remember, some things, and like I said, there was some hard times there, and hard to swallow. It was some things that I had to swallow that I did not like, but nevertheless, God still was on the throne, and I want everybody to know that God is always. He's not blind and he's not deaf and dumb. Don't worry about it. Just keep it in his hand. See, it was just like what our pastor preached about yesterday. According to whose hand you put it in. That's what Pastor William preached about. The majority of his sermon yesterday was on this here particular subject. It's according to whose hand you put it in. Um, we 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 um we don't understand everything, y'all. Because we could understand everything, and we did understand everything, I should say, that would make us be a God ourselves, and we wouldn't need God. So, at the foot of the cross, there's peace. At the foot of the cross, there's healing. At the foot of the cross, there's salvation. And there is no other salvation, y'all, and no other gospel other than this gospel. This is the one I'm talking about, the one that Peter, Paul, and James, and John, and all of them preach. This is the gospel I'm speaking of. I'm not talking about these other gospels that's out there. I'm talking about this gospel, the one that preached Jesus Christ and him crucified gospel. That's the one I'm talking about. Rose again on the third day, ascended, walked around on this earth by 40 days, then ascended, called a cloud down, and went on back into glory. That's the gospel that I'm speaking of. That's the one that the Bible speaks of, and so that's all I can tell y'all. And that's what I always come back with these videos, and I do them for a reason. I think back at the foot of the cross. There are a lot of things, y'all, that middleman that I did in my life, that ordinarily I wouldn't have done had not been for the grace and the mercy of God. I would not have. I didn't supposed to do a lot of the things that I did do, but God fixed it, and He opened doors for me that I could not open for myself, and I walked right on through. And God made it possible. Needless to say, I messed up a lot of things. I messed it up big time. But nevertheless, I know I can't undo what's been done, so I don't be in despair about it, but I do think about it every now and then. Some of the things that I fell short of, I didn't go through with it because of the lifestyle that I chose to live. I chose to forget where I come from. That's what I did. I forgot where I came from and what the upbringing that I was brought up under. And for a brief moment there, I ventured into the world. And I mean, I took a vacation big time. I took a bunch of suitcases with me. And I did do that. So that got into doing things that I shouldn't have done, made me forget about the reason my priorities changed. Everything changed, and therefore, I suffered the consequences. Just like many of you, I'm hoping and praying that sometime in some of these videos that I do will keep some of you from making the same mistakes that I made. That's why I share it. I'm very transparent with people. I'm not ashamed. I let you know, doing it your way will not work. Doing it your way will not work. And if you depended on others, like I said, the pastor preached a real powerful sermon yesterday. When you depending on man to do things that only God can do, you depending on something very broken, y'all. In other words, we got to depend on God. And so that's the way I am. If Christ said it, then I believe it, I can do it. If Christ said it. But now it's something that if the Bible is silent about things. I've heard the pastor also say this here as well. If the Bible is silent about a thing, we should be silent. Don't just say stuff what you don't know what you're talking about. Um, for instance, the Apostle Paul tells us in his word, in the word of God, we read that Apostle Paul ascended in the third heaven. Now, but if you look at what Apostle Paul said, he said whether he was in his body, he didn't know, or whether he was out of his body, he didn't know. See what I mean? He did not know. Only thing he know that he was in that third heaven. But now he didn't know whether he was still in this here body or he was out of the body. Only thing he knew was he was there. So why would I come here and try to bring my sermon to tell y'all, yeah, he was in his body, he was doing. Here when the man told you himself that he didn't even know whether he was in his body or not. So how can I know? See, this is the thing, y'all, that I tell everybody. If the Bible is silent on a subject, you keep your mouth closed too. Yeah, you keep your... Now, if you just going to give an opinion, if you want to give an opinion, if you let the people know, now this just Mitty Man's thought, y'all. Now, I've got to let you know that. This is not the Bible. This is just my little thought, and I'm going to tell you what I think. But now, this is not the Bible. That's the way I would do it. Don't go telling people something the Bible say when it ain't in the Bible. That's the only thing I'm saying. And I just remember, I remember so candidly, and so vividly, when I was taking music composition. And this is a good point for this here video about being at the foot of the cross and being a disciple of Christ. I remember when I was taking music composition up under my well beloved friend, trusted mentor, outstanding professor that I respect to this very day, and that's Dr. Stan Peltel, right there at Berry College. And I used to take a music composition seminar with him on every Friday. Me and him would meet in his office, and that's where I would take my music composition at. And what that was, y'all, in case some of you might be wondering, what is that? Music composition seminar was a one-on-one with a student and his mentor or professor, which in this case, mine was Dr. Stan Pelton. I was a music composition and theory. I was a music major, but my composition, my concentration were music theory and composition. I wasn't a performance major, y'all. I started late in life playing the piano, so I wasn't a performance major, but I did. Piano was my principal instrument. But in compositional seminar, it was there where Dr. Pelton would take me. He would show me the mechanics and the tools of the trade of music composition. And he would guide me through the path of composition. Told me, define a few terms for me in music composition. See, a lot of people thinking that it's a lot. You know, I'm not trying to put anybody down. Now, don't get me wrong. Not trying to put anybody down, but listen to me and you may learn something. A lot of people think music composition is something that is not. They think just because you can write a few lyrics on a piece of sheet of paper, that make you a composer. That does not make you a composer. I hate to tell you that. That does not make you a composer. Now, you may can write a few lyrics out, and you might know a couple of chords. You know, some people might know enough music to say, okay, I know a C chord, a F chord, a G chord. And C, in other words, they can go back to C. 3 chords, you can play songs with that. Yes, you can. But that does not make you a composer because you can play 3 chords. I'm just saying what I'm saying, y'all, because I know what I'm talking about. A composer knows how to use the mechanics. It's just like we learn how to talk. We don't come into this world talking, but we hear speech from the time we are born. We hear our parents and our surrounding, people in our surrounding, we hear them speak. And then through listening, we learn to hear and to put phrases together and make sentences. And therefore we learn the language and we learn to speak fluently That's the way it's done, y'all. Same thing with composition. Music composition is just like that. You must learn the mechanics of the music. You got different forms in music. A lot of people don't know that. Now, I'm not blaming you because you don't know that, because if you're not classically trained, you don't know nothing about ternary form, binary. You don't know nothing about that because you're not classically trained. You're not classically trained. But if I tell you a person not classically trained, if I tell them sonata form, they'll look at me like I'm crazy. They don't know nothing about no sonata because they're not classically trained. Does that mean that they do not know not a capable or a good musician? No, it doesn't mean that, but it just means that they were not classically trained. Therefore, they did not get this type of education as much to know what sonata, form, rondo, whatever. Those are forms in music composition. When I was taking that with Dr. Pelzer, that's what I was taught. And then I had to write myself. I had to write a musical piece, composition. I composed it myself through his guidance. Oh my God, y'all, those were some of the most wonderful Fridays I had. We will meet on Fridays at 3 o'clock in his office. And I must say, y'all, that was one of the best times of my life when I was sitting there in Dr. Stan Pelzer's office with him at that piano. He had an upright console piano in his office, and we would sit there on that Friday afternoon, and I would be in piano heaven, music composition heaven. So just as I sat at my mentor and teacher feet, learning music composition, I can sit here and call myself a composer. I haven't composed many songs, but I have composed songs. See, a lot of people call ourselves a composer, and we have not written one song. You can't call yourself a composer if you've not written a song. You can't. You're not a composer if you're not written a full composition. You're not a composer. Well, in other words, unless you sit at the feet of Jesus, you're not his disciple. I just going to cut through the chain. If you're not sitting at the feet of Jesus, and if you're not at the foot of the cross, you're not his disciple. We can say what we want to, but your action proves it. Every time we turn around, we all got people that talking about they love the Lord. They love the Lord. That it's easy to say, but it's something else to do, y'all. I just tell you like that. It's something else to do it. It's easy to talk it, but it's something else to do it. And it ain't easy. And I'm going to be honest with you. It is not easy to try to walk the road to glory. But the one thing I'm glad about it is not my walk. Jesus already walked it for me. But see, we don't want to yield to what he has done. We want to do it our way. We think man can do so much for us. Y'all, man can't do nothing for you. Man cannot. I wish I could help you out, but the minute man can't help you out. If you don't go to Jesus, guess what? You won't get it. Amen. At the foot of the cross, y'all, we got peace. At the foot of the cross, we got help. We got healing. At the foot of the cross, we got salvation. And like I said, y'all, find you something constructive to do with your time. And don't linger on all the unrest that's going on in this world, because there are some good things that are going on. Even in the midst of what we are in right now, there are still some good things that are going on in this world. Keep your focus on God and how God can make things. See, God can do anything in a moment's notice, y'all. It doesn't take God long. It doesn't take him long. He can do it in a moment's notice. Only thing we got to do is be still. Like Moses told the Israelites, be still and see the salvation of the Lord. So that's what I'm going to say tonight. Y'all, take it from me, man. Be still and see the salvation of the Lord. Stay at the foot of the cross, and I guarantee you, you'll never lose. That being said, this is me, the man, saying whatever you get into. God ain't in it. Please, ma'am, please, sir, come on out of it. Because it's going to come to nothing, y'all. Remember that. It's going to come to nothing. Till the next time, peace. Good morning.